Hey, I just wanted to preface this video and say yes, I am reading off of a script. I wrote the script last night, and I don't have it memorized yet, so I'm just reading off of that. So if you see my face start this way and look right in this area here, it's because I'm reading off a script that I previously wrote. I'll put a screenshot here or something so you know I wrote it and not someone else, because I know some people think that. So go ahead and enjoy the video, and thank you. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Logan here, and today we're going to be talking about my thoughts on President Trump's recent speech and the government shutdown in general. Now, for those of you who don't really know, long story short, he wants the wall. Dems don't want to give him the wall or the funding for the wall, and they're kind of having this big dispute over that. Now, obviously, this video is going to be a bit more serious than my other ones, so if you aren't down for the serious-ish talk, then you don't have to watch, and I want you to click away if you don't understand or whatever. I want to offend me none. I just want to make sure the people who watch this video know the details about what I'm talking about, just to be safe, you know. To start off, President Trump recited a lot of the same issues related to gang violence and just like horror stories that he did in last year's State of the Union address, and also his speech at the beginning of his presidency. And like last year, some of the stuff's false, some of it's just overglorified, and some is just exaggerated. And for this response video, I'll be using Fact Checker for that, Fact Checker and a couple other news sites for the first half of this video to keep everything straight, and then later on I'll be resetting my own personal opinion and what I think we could do instead of having a border wall and having Mexico pay for it, or Dems pay for the tax, get taxes to pay for the, you know what I'm saying? To begin with, what is going on our border right now isn't exactly a crisis, but it's a collection of people trying to flee their nations in South America and Central America and all those countries down there, to make a better life for them and their children in America. Now, America, you know, the melting pot, we thrive on immigrants, we thrive on legal immigrants, on everybody that's coming into the country. And Trump declared a crisis about all the people coming in. Now, according to the Fact Checker, factchecker.org, the year 2018, only 396,000 people were let into America from the southwest border. That sounds like a lot of people, doesn't it? Yeah, but in comparison, the year 2000, 1.64 million people were let in. That's an approximate number, probably a rough estimation. But in the year 2000, we could name that as a crisis, where we have some people flooding the border to get into America, and as we have now, just 396,000, about 400,000, isn't too much compared to what we had a while ago. Now, the difference between those numbers is obviously quite severe, and I don't believe there was a call for a border talk back then. You can correct me in the comments if you want wrong, but it's just what I know and what I have read and heard about from the past few days. Now, while on the topic of this border, a wall will not really stop all illegal drugs from entering this country, as most drugs come through civilian vans, cars, and trucks at the legal checkpoints, and they just are really good at hiding the marijuana, cocaine, all these other drugs that are coming in. Now, a more viable issue than a wall to stop the drugs and illegal immigrants would be better, like, drug detecting devices that they can fund, which I'll talk about more later on. And also, as I'll talk about later on, more policemen and more law enforcement agents at these major border checkpoints to make sure they can thoroughly look in the car and make sure that nothing's hiding anything suspicious. Now, Trump also brought up MS-13, one of the most horrible gangs in the United States. So he cited a quote that about 6,000 members were deported by ICE because they were illegal immigrants, and they came in the country through smuggling in, being smuggled in, or just illegally crossing without anyone knowing. Now, according to Snopes, their fact check whatever system, there is no evidence that the 6,000 people mentioned had any links to MS-13. So, what that's saying is the 6,000 people that were deported by ICE, not really one of them had any big link to MS-13. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I'm going to read as much as I can. But only 1.7% of those encountered by ICE had any links to real criminal backgrounds. So Trump tells these stories about, President Trump tells these stories about people dying in California, police officers dying in New York, Pennsylvania. If you notice, when he spoke, he used a very fearful factor in his voice. And he also made sure he got the different racial groups of America to kind of manipulate their audience and their racial groups to join his side and think, oh yeah, we do need this wall. Now, we're going to go back to the wall a second before I put my 2 cents in and opinions on this whole thing. So, President Trump is asking for $5.7 billion from Congress to construct this gigantic wall. But A, he's previously stated that Mexico will fund the whole thing, and B, that he will keep the government shut down as long as he needs to in order to secure the funding. Now, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, stated the following. The fact is, President Trump has chosen to hold hostage critical services for the health, safety, and well-being of the American people, and withhold the paychecks of 800,000 innocent workers across the nation, many of them veterans. He promised to keep the government shut down for months or years, no matter whom it hurts. That's just plain wrong. Now, in Speaker Pelosi's response to Trump's address last night, she was kind of right in her mini speech. It isn't right to hold the pay and livelihood of over 800,000 government workers, as well as the different programs that are government funded. If this shutdown lasts into February and even longer, it's possible that 40 million Americans will face food stamp reductions, and massive amounts of trash and human waste will start piling up in our national parks and places because they're not kept properly. As well, on top of that, a lot of government workers who work in these national parks and national museums and stuff may as well quit their jobs as they're not getting paid for what they're supposed to do. So, obviously, border security is a big issue in this nation, and we should do what we can to uphold it. Now, a lot of this is going to be my opinion, so save all your critical comments and what you think to yourself to the end of the video, and put them in the comment box below, and I'll try to respond to as many as possible. Now, walls and mass deportations are really not the best way to go about this whole situation. The government could use the $5.7 billion to fund new drug detection devices that can, like, scan through cars and detect, smells, can detect odors, can detect shapes and stuff of what they could be hiding these drugs in. They could hire some more border security men to keep the border calm and keep everything collective and safe and democratic, I guess. Now, as for MS-13, President Trump could also use some of that money from the $5.7 billion to help, create more jobs where people can come in and monitor MS-13 and see where the gang is going, what the gang is doing, and all this other stuff. He could also send money to St. Louis and Detroit and some of these other rundown cities that really need repairs, and they could use that money and hire homeless people and teach them what to do and rebuild the houses, and then the homeless people could live in those houses and pay rent each month as a normal person would. That would also bring down the poverty level, and would also put more people, give more people jobs and give more people money, which would help fill the economy even more. Now, $5.7 billion could still do a lot of things. You could also give money to cancer research and help eradicate the disease off this planet. You could give the money to other countries and help epidemics and horrid lives of the billions of people living in poverty around the world in Africa and India, China. You can You can use the money to help fund civilian centers in the Middle East. You could help build wells. You could do so much more with $5.7 billion than just keep people out of our nation. By helping the world, we would truly make America great again. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? Thank you guys for watching. So if you enjoyed this video and like what I said, please like the video and share it around. Share it on your Twitter, your Instagrams, your MySpace, your Tinder, your TikTok. I don't care where you share it on. Just share it around with other people. I want this video to get exposure, and I want more people to join in on this conversation and hear what I have to say, and I want to hear what they have to say as back. And if you didn't like what I said, or didn't like the points I made in this video, or just didn't like the video at all, if you think I'm ugly or something, comment why you didn't like the video, and go ahead and hit that dislike button. I'm not going to be offended this time if you don't like my opinion, because we all have our own opinions. And I really want to see what you guys have to say. So comment what you think down below, and I'll respond to as many people as I can. I'll try to be active throughout the next week or so, maybe even longer. And just let me know what you think. This is something that it's going to go down in the history books, and it's something that we should jump on and talk about. So with that, in the description box below you will find the sources I use to help build this speech, as well as all of my links, my Instagram, my Facebook page, all the links I have below. last thought, I want to say thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot that you guys tune in and watch these videos. I'm sorry that I haven't been active lately. I'll try to be more active as the year progresses. This year, I want to get this channel as far as I can, and I think that videos like this might help me with that. So with that, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys attend the next video session with me. My name is Logan. See you guys.